Have you tried everything that you could to lose weight and found nothing worked? Have you been on every single diet that you could possibly imagine only to lose weight and gain it all back again? Do you eat healthy and still struggle with your weight? Find out the answers to these questions in this video. Hey everybody, thank you for tuning into my channel. I have a very special topic that I want to talk about today. I love talking about weight loss because weight loss is not a matter of calories in, calories out. It's not black and white. There are tons of gray areas to weight loss, and we're going to go over just a few. If you're like me, you've probably been on every single diet you can imagine, tried every method of eating you could imagine, and found success with nothing. Unfortunately, this is all too common with women everywhere. Not just women, but men as well. We go on diets and we gain a little bit of traction, but we can't seem to make it stick. Even if we adopt a healthy eating pattern, chances are you still won't lose all the weight that you want. Now, why does this happen? Why, if we're eating as healthy as we can, do we still seem to keep weight on? The answer lies deeper than just the physical part of nutrition. This goes down into the mind and into the spirit. Now, when I'm in front of a client and they're having a difficult time losing weight, but they assure me that they're eating healthy, and by what they say, it does look like they're eating healthy, I have to ask deeper questions. What's going on in their life? What have they been through? What are they still struggling with? And what kind of skeletons are still hidden in their closet? When I was struggling with food and with my weight, it was never about food. It had nothing to do with the fact that I liked eating or that I had no control over myself when I would binge and purge. It had everything to do with what I had been through. It was my way of processing all of those hurts, all of the trauma, all of the negativity through the action of bulimia. So it wasn't about food, it was about my history. Having gone through sexual abuse when I was a teenager and then being raped again when I was 20, I used food to hide in. I used it for protection, I used it for control, and I used it to manipulate what my body looked like so I wouldn't get hurt again. This is a very, very common practice that you see with women that have gone through sexual abuse. They'll either eat in a way that makes them gain a lot of weight because in their mind, bigger people won't get hurt. Not just in their mind because of looks, but because of that protection, that grounding, that insulation that fat brings. So women will either gain a lot of weight or they'll lose a lot of weight and go through severe eating disorders as a means to control their situation and their life when something was out of their control at one point in time. Weight loss then is really not so black and white. To tell someone, well, just eat healthier, just do this, just do that. It's going to be a band-aid. It's not going to fix the real issue, the root cause as to why someone is eating the way that they have. Now, again, when someone goes through abuse, they'll often turn to food for many different reasons. Comfort is one, control is one, and that sense of grounding when everything else seems to be spinning. Food is something that brings us back down to earth. So to take food away from someone that's struggling with their past isn't necessarily the best thing. Now, we want to get them to a place where they're not using food to deal with their past, but if they don't know that that's what they're doing, then you're going to take something away and you're going to have issues that come up. The first thing that you want to do when you start healing from things that have happened to you is address those things first and foremost. Forget about food, forget about going on a diet, forget about everything. Get down to the nitty-gritty. What has happened to you in your life? Do you have a history of abuse? Are you using food to hide in? What is it that you're using food for? And if you ask yourself, you will know. Inside, you will know why you use food the way that you do. It's not just because you like food. There's something deeper going on. What's going on? After you find out and really pinpoint what the issue is to cause you to overeat, start to ask yourself, what are the steps that I need to make in order to overcome this challenge? Now, a lot of the time with abuse victims, more help is going to be needed. Outside help is going to be needed. Professional help is going to be needed. And you should aim to go and seek help as soon as possible, especially if you struggled with abuse and now you struggle with some form of eating disorder. Of course, there's lots of different things that you can do on your own to start your healing process. And in many videos, I always talk about sharing your story. Now, I'm not one to keep quiet. I really believe that God has gifted me with a boldness and a voice to speak out, especially for women that don't feel like they are able to speak out. I never confronted the man that raped me. I never told anyone about it. I told very, very few people about it. And I let that sit inside for a long time. When I finally started to share my story with people, I realized just how alone I wasn't and how many times this had happened to the women that I was coming in contact with. That part of healing was through sharing my story with people. And that's why I talk about what I've been through. Because when we bring things into the light, it has no more power over us. If you keep things hidden and to yourself, you will continue to struggle with that hurt, with that pain, with that trauma. There is so much power in sharing your story, not just for you, but for the people you come in contact with, because you have no idea what people have been through. Every person I meet has this amazing story, and I always make a point of asking people when I'm sitting with them, what's your story? Tell me a little bit about yourself. If I'm going and getting my hair done, I'm asking my hairstylist. If some girl's washing my hair, I'm asking her what her story is. I am so interested in what people's personal stories are, because the more they are able to share their story in a compassionate place, the more healing that will take place. Because at the end of the day, people just want to be acknowledged. They want to be listened to, and they want to empathize with the person in front of them. They want to know that they're not alone. It is so important that you let people share their story, no matter how uncomfortable it might be for you, especially if you are a part of that hurt or that trauma. If you don't want to let someone share that part of their story with you, then they're not going to heal properly. You're not going to heal properly. And we don't make those meaningful connections that we need for our soul, for us to thrive as individuals. Now, when people don't want to confront the things that have happened to them, you can bet that it's going to manifest itself in different ways. And 9 times out of 10, it's going to manifest itself as an eating issue. 95% of women that struggle with an eating disorder have a history of sexual abuse. 95% or even higher. So every time you see a woman struggling with food or struggling with her body image, instead of just saying, eat less, exercise more, stop being so lazy, stop being so gluttonous, think about what that person has been through. Because people don't gain a lot of weight for no reason or just simply because they like food. There's always a deeper reason. Be compassionate with the women that you see that struggle with food. Don't just say, oh, I'm going on another diet again. There's a reason that these women are doing it. Ask them what their story is. It doesn't matter if you're a qualified therapist or not, or a counselor. Sometimes strangers asking me my story brings me just as much healing because I get to share it with them. Be compassionate. Ask people what they have been through and start to look deeper into the areas that they could be struggling with and help them. Ask inside how you can help that person. What are some words that you could say to that person in that point in time? If you yourself have gone through a history of abuse or things have happened to you that have caused you to turn to food, you need to stop looking at food. You need to not worry about what you're eating for this moment and target the areas of hurt and of trauma. This is really the first thing that we need to focus on when it comes to eating healthy, is healing those past hurts. When we target those areas first, it's funny how eating just kind of falls into place where we don't want to turn to food anymore. We don't want to hide in it. We don't want to protect ourselves from the world or shut everyone out because we are dealing with all of that pain. That pain is coming out and it's uncomfortable, but it's going to bring a ton of healing. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please share this. You never know how many women have struggled with abuse that haven't said anything. Be a voice for them. Share this video, like it, and please subscribe to my YouTube channel, Jaded Nutrition. Bye-bye.